Hello everybody, this is Dr. Kevin Connors. Welcome to Module 1 of the RIFE, the Frequency Healing course. I say RIFE, but we're going to be talking about all sorts of different types of frequency healing devices, but the main concentration is on RIFE. And you'll see why as we go through this. So I hope that these modules will be helpful to a lot of people, especially those that purchase a RIFE machine from us, so they feel like they're not alone. That's the whole idea of doing a course like this, so that you can feel like you can best use a piece of equipment that I think can really help so many health conditions and so many people in your family. Every single member of your family, you should be running the RIFE literally every single night on somebody in your family, and running different conditions during the day should you have a sickness. So even if you're healthy, these are things that can keep you healthy. Everybody wants to know, what's a good wellness program? Well, the RIFE is a great wellness program just by itself. And it can be far superior than taking supplements, and can be just as important as eating right and thinking right and doing everything else correctly. It should be part of your curriculum. The worst thing in my mind is if somebody purchases a piece of equipment that can be expensive and then doesn't use it. I just think that's such a shame. These are great pieces of equipment. You need to be using these things and not take them for granted. We certainly don't want them to be, something like an exercise bike that you end up hanging your laundry on or something like that. You want to use it. And this is something that doesn't take a whole lot of energy to use. So we're not asking you to exercise a half an hour on an exercise bike. We're asking you to take 30 seconds and click a couple switches to turn on a machine that could really save your life. So let's get into the basics of healing frequencies. Again, this is going to be basics. I'm not a physicist. I'm not going to explain the differences in hertz and megahertz and kilohertz and all that kind of stuff. This isn't a course on physics. We're not going to get into the different wavelengths. I'll mention that the TrueRife that we use has a carrier wave. Any good RIFE is going to have a carrier wave that's going to bring the healing frequency wave to the body. But beyond that, I'm not going to get into the technical aspects of the machinery. I want this course to be a user-friendly course, not for you to become a RIFE specialist or technician, but it's going to be usable so that you can use this to help you heal. So this is coming from a physician's standpoint of how do you actually use this equipment to your betterment, to be able to deal with autoimmune diseases, to cancer, to Lyme disease, to brain issues, to Asperger's, to just anything you can possibly think of, comes down to frequencies and frequencies. Though it may not be a panacea of all disease, it's certainly going to help. And that's the idea of this. One question that I get coming from a Christian perspective, because I'm a Christian, is often I get people thinking that frequency healing is New Age. And is frequency healing New Age? Oh, I don't want to get into the RIFE because that's New Age. It's using frequencies. That's about as ignorant as you could get. And I don't mean that to insult anybody, but you need to... I had one person say, no, I don't believe in frequencies. Okay, well, do you use your cell phone? Because in order for you to make a phone call, you had to plug in some numbers, which changed to specific frequency that was then beamed via a frequency from your cell phone to the nearest cell phone tower. Then that was beamed via a frequency to a satellite that's orbiting the Earth, that was beamed via frequency to another cell phone tower nearest where the call you were making to that cell phone, that person on that cell phone, then that was beamed via frequency to that person's cell phone. And so you might not believe in frequency, but you're surrounded by frequencies constantly. And it even gets deeper than that. everything is frequency. Understand everything to its smallest particle. By definition, through quantum physics, everything is just energy that's vibrating at a frequency. In Colossians, Paul wrote to us, "For in him all things were created." All things were created through Jesus Christ. That's who the him is that we're talking about. Jesus Christ created. He is the creator, and he is the sustainer of everything. And God used frequencies. He created frequencies, things in heaven, things on earth, things that are visible and things that are invisible. Whether thrones or powers or rulers or authorities, all things have been created through him, and underline this in your Bible, for him. They were created for him, for his purpose. And one of the purposes, there's thousands if not millions, one of the purposes and frequencies, I believe, is to help us with healing. Just like in the book of Revelation, the different herbs are going to be in the new heaven and new earth, are going to be for our healing, and they are today as well. And so are frequencies. And how do herbs heal? How do supplements heal? How does a good diet heal? How does a good attitude change things? And it all has to do with frequencies, the frequencies that you're putting out. It isn't New Age. Yes, New Age people have hijacked the truth, right? That's been from the beginning of age. The satanic forces hijack the truth and use it to their benefit and twist it and turn it to their benefit. That doesn't mean that the truth is wrong. If the truth still stands, we need to bring it back and bring it back to what God created it for, is for us and for him and for ultimately his glory. The book of Ezekiel says, "Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says, I am against your magic charms with which you ensnare people." We are not to be using magic, and we are not to be thinking that, just because something we don't understand is now instantly New Age and magic. We have to understand these things and understand them like science, not the way science has been so poorly defined the last few years, but true science, which you question things and you test things and you have observed what is in the natural realm, and you're giving God the credit. The scientists of the past, that's what they did. Gave God the credit. This is how he created things, and it's a glory and a wonder that we can discover them and understand them. We are a million years away from understanding everything that God has created, and I truly believe that's one of the things I'll be able to do in heaven, is spend eternity to learn the wonders and the glory of God himself in everything that he created. For he is, what he created too. And that's what we're going to spend eternity learning that. And this is never going to stop. It's so deep. And so to think that we should just label things because we don't understand them as New Age, because maybe New Age movement has hijacked things, that's just foolishness. And we're just, we're being fools when we do that. We are called to a deeper understanding. Paul, the Apostle Paul in the New Testament, said 19 times he used the phrase, "Brethren, I do not want you to be ignorant." We are not to be ignorant of spiritual things. We're not to be ignorant of other things. So we need to learn as much as we can. Does it mean that we need to be a student of everything? No, but we are supposed to have a curious mind and to be asking God for the truth in all things. Now, a lot of people, I understand, that are going to be listening to these modules are lost right now because they're not even professing Christians. Maybe you're agnostic. I don't care. We can still use these frequencies. I'm giving glory to God in them. So whatever you want to do, that's your choice. But I hope that through all my courses and all my writings, that comes through, that I'm looking ultimately to give God the glory in everything, because that's what my purpose in life is to finally hear, "Well done, a good and faithful servant." And I hope that's the purpose that I can instill in you. So everything is frequency. Also, frequencies affect matter. So matter is, down to its smallest component, frequency. It's energy that's vibrating at specific frequencies, but frequencies themselves also affect matter. So we could use frequencies to affect our cells, to affect our organs, to affect different tissue, to affect different microbes that are trying to attack our body, to affect cancer that's trying to grow in our body. We need to become wise. We need to constantly be searching and understanding and learning what we could do and observe what we could do that could make a difference in our lives and other people's lives. I think that we're called to do that. And we, especially in this culture, have really grown to become lazy. And that is slothfulness, and that's not what this is about. So I commend you for buying this course and learning this stuff. So I'm not speaking to anybody that's in that category, I hope. So I want you to just be constantly studying, constantly learning, and understand throughout these modules in all my courses, I call them living courses, because as I learn different things, I'm adding videos, I'm adding information, and you're not going to get a ding, 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 something's been added to your course. You need to be coming back to these modules and seeing if there's something you didn't look at yet. Oh, that looks new. I'm going to listen to that video, or it looks like Dr. Connor's added that information. I'm going to go and look at them. These courses are constantly changing. When we're putting this course together, I just finished the Stop Fighting Cancer course about 3 months ago. I've already made multiple additions to it. So that's what we're doing with all these courses. As I learn things, I feel like that's what my calling is. As I learn things, I got to teach it to other people. I'll put it in videos and I'll add them to the courses. Doesn't mean that you need to become, a doctor of physics. I'm certainly not. You don't need to understand physics, but just have that primary grasp of what I'm saying right now helps you to understand it in your mind. You don't need to prove any of this stuff to anybody else. If somebody is telling you that, oh, you're crazy doing the Rife, or you're crazy thinking frequencies, have them take the course, for crying out loud. Don't listen to naysayers and skeptics and people who haven't learned anything since they went to school, haven't read a book since high school. Don't listen to those people. Just because they have degrees behind their name doesn't mean they know anything. Look at all these medical doctors. All they are is technicians for pharmaceutical companies. So all they know how to do is give prescriptions and use drugs. For crying out loud, have they thought of a new thought in their life, independent thought, since when? I get that their hands are tied, and I get that they can't do anything beyond the system, or they'll end up with a lawsuit in their hands. But then break off and do something different. There's so many medical doctors that are now doing that. Now, since this whole pandemic goof stuff has been going on, that has brought the doctors who really want to be doctors to the surface, and you can find these people, and they're going into functional medicine practices on their own, and that's fantastic. So find those people. Those are the people that you want to help you. Other questions? Do I need to learn technical skills? Well, yes and no. You need to learn how to turn on a computer. You need to learn how to understand what a folder is in a computer program. The TrueRife that we uses mainly Microsoft technology of 20 years ago or 10 years ago, where you have to know what a folder is that you click on, and it opens up a series of other programs maybe. So yes, there's some skills that you need to learn. Don't be afraid of that. Again, you're supposed to continue learning. Do you want to keep your brain healthy and want to ward off dementia? Learn new things, novel skills. Get your brain working. Fire new neuronal pathways. That's the whole idea of why you're taking this course. So you don't need to be a super technical computer whiz. Don't worry if you're technically challenged. You can learn these things. It's not very difficult. So all the stuff that we're going to be going through, and how to use your Rife should you buy one, it's fairly easy, and you'll learn it pretty quick. Do I need to learn all the different healing frequencies? Do I need to know what number frequency of 512 hertz is? Do I need to? No, you don't need to learn any of those things. So the nice thing, all these programs have been created, and I'm creating a program for you if you bought a Rife machine from us, and we'll find out what your main health challenges are, so I can put them in a folder and make it easy for you to be able to access. Again, the whole purpose of this course is for you to be able to take equipment and then be able to utilize equipment for your health, if it's too difficult to use, you don't use it. That's why we're doing this course. Are there different types of frequencies? Yes, there's all sorts of different types of frequencies. Now, most of the modules in this course are going to be on Rife. There's other frequencies, electrical frequencies, ultrasound frequencies, infrared frequencies, all sorts of good healing frequencies. And in the later modules, I go over those. We use those things in our practice, and we have in the 30-some years that I practiced all sorts of different healing modalities. I'm going to explain a lot of those so that you can go and seek out a practitioner that may have some of these other things. Hey, what's best to use when I really injured my shoulder? Is it a Rife machine, or is it a PEMF, or is it a laser, or is it infrared? Well, we're going to go over those in detail. We want to use the proper tool for the job. So it's the different tools you use for different things, and that's what we're going to cover in these modules. Why is light frequency best? Well, it's not. It really depends on what you're trying to do. So light frequency is best, in my opinion, using frequencies through a light tube, a Tesla tube, is best for killing cancer cells, helping your body kill cancer cells, helping your body kill parasites, helping your body kill bacteria, killing bacteria and single-cell organisms directly, killing viruses. Light frequency is hands down the best. I mean, way beyond anything else. If you got, let's say, a virus, will PEMF help you kill the virus? No, not really. Well, yes, indirectly. Its PEMF is going to stimulate cell health. Can that stimulate your immune response? Yes. It's not going to directly do anything to the virus. You have to hit the virus with its own frequency so you can destroy it on contact. Same thing with the bacteria. You could destroy a single cell organism like a bacteria or a paramecium with the Rife. But you got to run those specific frequencies. You can't do it with the PEMF. You can't do it with the laser. You can't do it with infrared. You can't do it with other things. But let's say I have a muscle pull. Is the Rife the best for that? Well, probably not. PEMF would probably shine with that. If I have a torn ligament, what would be the best for that? Probably laser would be best for that. We'll go over those details. But when you're talking about cancer, when you're talking about health and healing with bacterial, fungal, Lyme disease, mold issues, the Rife with light frequency is far the best. And then what kind of health conditions can be helped? With proper use of the different modalities, just about everything can be helped. Can it be cured? We can't talk about cure at all. We're talking about stimulating the body to do its job to be able to help you. So understand that, understand our scope of what we can talk about with making any health claims, but for sure using modalities to the best the best use of how to use any individual tool, you can have dramatic changes in your health. And again, the purpose of this course is to give you those tools so you can use these modalities, so you can, boy, it's so hard to find a good doctor. I hear that literally. I'm not kidding. We hear that maybe 3 to 5 times a day. So hard to find a good doctor in my area. Well, you goodness sakes, you live in Chicago, for crying out loud. There's good doctors. I can't find them. They're not taking patients or whatever. So the idea of these courses is to educate you so that you can now learn how to be at least, take the place of a doctor that you might not be able to find readily in your area, or to do things so that you don't have to go to the doctor maybe quite so frequently. Maybe that's a better way to put it. So many conditions can be helped, and we're going to go over a lot of these as the modules go through. All right. Continue to remember these are living courses, so continue to check back with them. Know that I'm praying for you, and go through the videos and information on this module, and we'll see you at the next module.